have their kids get molested by a friend or associate of that family because
that's Uncle Butler. Uncle Butler give you $5 just going in the room with him. Some mothers encourage that.
Okay, because once again, you're not looking.
Use your body.
We're not looking at the financial circumstances, and they don't tell you to use your body. What they're telling you is that women, this is an unfortunate situation, but because this person is helping us financially, and we need to help financially, we're allowing him to do things that he shouldn't be, that he knows better.
That he knows are wrong, or she knows that's wrong.
But we're looking at the financial situation that overrides what we should do morally. What we should do morally is overridden by the financial concerns of the family. And that's why a lot of people do it. It's simply based on their family. That family dynamic
is crucial. You know, and none of us are none of us are perfect. And one of the things my mother would say when we were growing up, she was like, you're never going to be perfect. Just let this going to always be somebody smarter than you, prettier than you, dressed better than you. It's going to be, and if you're that person, please know that people behind you are going to want to do that same thing. So either way you go, you're going to be a leader, and they're going to follow behind what you do. So make sure you're putting out good information. Make sure that you know what you're talking about. And that's why we became, I've always been a very, very avid reader, always. You know, to get the knowledge. My mother had a subscription to Playboy magazine, and we were like, and my brothers and them would take them and go in their room and close the door. And I was like, Mama, why you got Playboy magazine? She goes, because these are some of the best written articles. They're, written by people, everyday people. They're written by people who have achieved, greatness in the world, and they had excellent. And I was like, I wasn't excited about looking at a bunch of naked women. Shit, I look better than them naked. What am I pay somebody for?
You being another woman, different.
Yeah.
Your brothers, it was quite pleasurable.
They was just insane.
But the difference is, if you get a chance to talk to someone, communication plays a key role in all of this. How many people honestly want to sit down and talk to their kids about growing up, the trappings of sex, and how someone can come at you from more than one direction? We just assume that you won't be involved, you won't think about that until you're an adult.
And then their panties be on fire, and you got to get them calm. When we were going, it was 4 girls, and then some of the other girls in the neighborhood, because our mother was always straight up, and she would talk to us. She never talked at us or down to us. She said, well, if she didn't know, she said, well, let's go find out together. And let us get it. We were the only family in all of the states that we lived around that had 2 sets of encyclopedias. So our kitchen after school was the homework place. And so she sat down and told us about what's going to happen when we start menstruating, how our bodies are going to change, it's going to be every 21 or every 28 days. She broke it down for us, and she said, I want you to understand. And she had the pictures and stuff, and, the anatomy, and this is what a boy looks like, this is what a man looks like, and they all have a penis, and this is what grows, and then your breasts are going to grow, and, your butt is going to widen, and fellas are going to start looking at you in a different way. You have to be comfortable in your skin so that you don't look like it's going to be easy to prey on you. And I always made sure, my mother said, I ain't going to never have to worry about you getting pregnant out here, because as soon as they start talking about your panties being on fire, you better, come meet my mama. Come meet my, she had
the question that I would have for you.
She had them terrified.
Okay, the question that I have for you. How many other parents in your neighborhood talk to their kids about sex? Okay, most parents do not want to talk.
Didn't want, and one mother who they had a lot of kids, and their daughters would come over, and we would have to get to talk and stuff and what have you, and we talk back and forth, and she's letting us know this is a natural process. There was a lady in the neighborhood. There was a lady in the neighborhood. She had 3 or 4 daughters, and she did tell her daughters when they started bleeding from between their legs, they was gonna be evil. And she said, when you get like that, you got to really wrap yourself up. That's when we found out what a chastity belt was and what it was for.
I have a question for you.
It was terrible.
Okay, but
then I would tell them in the bathroom.
Okay, but the question that I would have for you
mm-hmm.
is that, okay, what happened to her mother? You know, and her goings-on in her life. Has she been molested by somebody? Okay, wait a minute. When I say, has she been, because that may...
If I knew then, I'm gonna say this. If I knew then what I know now, I would say not only was she sexually assaulted, but she was sexually assaulted over a period of time because her heart was so hardened. And then come to find out, one of her daughters was on my bus, and she started her period on the bus. So I get all the kids off the bus, and I call, my dispatch and say what's going on. Because this child, and she was bleeding heavy. All her clothes was bloody at the bottom, and, and it was just awful. She came up and she was, watered down and said, say you got me. And I was like, what are you saying? So I'll call one of my friends who lived in the neighborhood. So she brings us over a change of clothes, and, so we can get her cleaned up. We go to we go get her a box of Kotex, and because young ladies couldn't wear tampons. That might be too much information. But so we get her cleaned up. So her mother they had called her mother at the school to ask her to come and pick her up from the bus stop because there was an incident. And so when the mother came in, the whole time I'm standing there with her, keeping her calm, explaining to her that's what her body naturally does. My body does the same thing every month. When my body ain't doing that, okay, that could be trouble right there, And so I got her calm, and she felt better. And I opened up the bus. Her mother was there, banging on the door. I opened up the bus, and the little girl was in the front of the bus. And she was up right behind me. And so we talking, and then we open the door. She sees it's her mother. The girl jumped up, got to the first step, and started screaming and hollering at her mother. You're a liar. You're a liar. You've been lying to me all my life. You're a liar. And I was like, oh, what the? She tried to get me fired. She tried to get me fired because I told the girl the truth.
Okay, but once again, now, was the mother was saying it wasn't your place to say?
That's what she said. It was none of my business.
Okay, but now you made it your business because of the situation that came up at that moment.
This child was in distress.
Okay, well I'm saying you made that decision at that.
I did. I did make that decision.
But I'm saying,
and I was prepared. They could have fired me for it, and I would have been all right with it. Because if I had to do it again, if I had to do it 10 times, I would do the same thing.
But that doesn't make because you did that does not mean that every adult will be in that position or have that knowledge to be able to talk to.
Wait. Okay, wait. Okay, you finish what you're gonna say, because I got to tell you the end of that story. Go ahead.
Okay, the point that I'm making is that when we first started talking, I was saying that most parents do not talk to their kids about sex, about their body maturing and how they would change. Most of them don't. They say, let you learn that on your own. Let you learn that from school. Let you learn that from a friend. They don't want to talk to you about it. I mean, now, we know that this is something that so many parents do not want to talk to their child about sex, about them, if you're a young lady, about you starting to have periods. For a young man, that, okay, your hormones will start to change as you become, a teenager. And the fact that you'll want to have sex, but do you be responsible when you want to do this? Or are you irresponsible? I mean, that's why they equip a lot of folks and give young men condoms. Okay, we know you will have the urge, but now, do we want you to be responsible even though you're having this urge?
When you make that step over. And that got to be your decision.
All that does truly matter, because a lot of us do not think about that. And there's something that, is a part of life that most families do not want to have that talk with their.
And I know
some of them do.
And they go too far. They tell too much. You know, I know people who tell their daughters and sons all about their sex life. You know, I'm like, why would you tell that to your child? And you don't think they're going to, are not going to want to experiment, not going to want to know what you found out about it. I remember when I first found out about it, I was terrified. I was like, I don't think I want to be a woman. I don't want to do this every month.
Wait a minute. If your mother talked about this all the time, why were you terrified?
Because I didn't want to be, I did not want to have them, I didn't want to be in that position. I didn't want to have a period. I didn't want my breast to grow. I didn't want none of that to happen because it just sounded icky. It just was, then when I found out. The most kids, it is icky. Because that's not something that you were accustomed to doing as you were growing up as a little kid. Right.
As you start to mature and you start feeling different, when your voice changes, you know, when you go from the high-pitched voice to the lower pitch, you know, when these changes start happening, if no one has talked to you about it, then you're not, most of the time, you're not prepared for it.
Right.
Because nobody stops to take the time to tell you about it before.
Well, like I said, she told us, and I was like, and so many of my girlfriends, when we were young teenagers, I was the last one in my group that I grew up with, and we were like, you know, these was my girls, these were my ride or die girls.
Yeah.
I was the last one to have a baby. I didn't have my son until I was 24 years old. By the time they got 24, their kids was like 10, 12 years old. You know, they were grandmothers at 35. I'm like,
but once again, that's almost a child raising a child.
It is.
Because if you don't talk to people and explain to them about a lot of these stuff that's going to have to happen naturally, then you're not aware of it. You don't always know how to handle it. Because you simply...
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I beg to differ with you, sir. Because now they're so sophisticated, they can Google it and see the position. Wait a minute, speaking of that, wait a minute, I want to change the subject. It goes in tandem with children, and, you know, when they're putting these unnecessary...
We have 2 minutes left.
Wait a minute. No, we don't. Yes, we do. Okay, well, this is going to be quick then. I want to get your opinion on the Surgeon General saying that we should have warnings on these social media sites for these kids because it's become so dangerous, like the sign you put on cigarettes and say, this is detrimental to your health. What do you think about them putting a warning sign on that like they did tobacco and the movies and now the Internet and these social media platforms?
Okay, yes, they should. But that's a subject for another day when we have more time to talk about that, because that's not something that they just quickly say, okay, what do you think about? Yes, I think that is something that should be mentioned because it affects so many millions of people, because almost everybody now has a cell phone. So that is the topic that we need to talk about. But
there's no privacy anywhere.
But it's on in 2 minutes. That's not enough time to give it adequately.
Well, it's enough to wet my whistle about it and get you going. It's a conversation that ought to be had. I was thinking about that when I remember when I first came out here. We'll hold that meeting for another day. And wait a minute. And I'm gonna tell you what had happened with the crazy mama. And remember this, babies. No matter how big.
Happy birthday, Robert Ferguson.
Oh, happy birthday, Robert Ferguson. I'm glad you remember.
The time is almost up. Okay, now I'll turn it back over to you, but I just want to make sure that we mentioned Robert Ferguson, that we remember today is his birthday.
Happy birthday, baby, and happy birthday to all the June babies. Have a wonderful
June
time.
Babies, especially.
And what kind of babies?
June 18th babies. People were born
Oh,
on
today is June 18th. Tomorrow's Juneteenth. Let us celebrate and understand where we come from. So thank you very much. We always have a lively conversation. I'm Mr. Kerry. Peace and blessings, my dear. So you take a line. That's 9 seconds between. Okay.
Okay.
That was right lively.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to go that long with that. We still ain't got to the damn life hacks yet.
Okay, first of all, because you're not paying attention, I want to mention this to you. Okay, when you're on restring, up here in the upper left-hand corner, it's the clock.